All right, I believe we're live. Thank you guys for joining us. We're going to be a half hour early today because my office is going to be closing early this week. So we do a few announcements and a few introductions. Then we're going to get into the HUD Homeownership Program as part two. Today I'm going to give you the technicals, and then we're going to discuss what your options could be in terms of the near future, the commitment time, and so on. So, to get us started, my name is Jay. I am the owner of Section8Consulting.com. We work with around 1,000 clients a year, and we handle all types of advice and consulting related to housing and Section 8 programs, federal law, and so on. For those of you that are new to the channel, we make videos and have made educational videos for around 15 years, and you can find our videos at present at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. And we often do sporadic short videos as well. Just so everybody knows, besides the changing of hours, we're going to be changing our hours. We tried a new methodology for a week. I don't like it. It ended up costing me 16-hour days working with clients, and taking payment methods over the phone for a company was quite a miserable experience. So over the next few days, while we're closed, we're going to be revamping our hours. We're also going to be revamping the hours in which we make videos. And so we'll start posting notices starting from today all the way up to Monday. Looks like we got a visitor. Little mama would like, my office manager would like to pay a visit to you guys. So I might as well grab her real quick before we get into the program of HUD Homeownership Program. So this is little mama. She says hello to everybody. She's feeling a little scratchy today. Mama, say hello. Well, she's doing her own thing. So I'm glad she could join us. If you see a tail roll through here, we rescue cats. It's kind of I don't just house people, I house cats. And sometimes we have to put up with a few tails and a few purrs in the videos. For those of you that are not pet lovers, I would recommend moving to a different channel. Okay. All right. So I want to talk about both the HUD Homeownership Program and Family Self-Sufficiency Program, or FSS. To make this more brief, I have made notes today, which I don't normally need to do, because what we want to do is kind of get straight to the point for you guys that are considering this as an option for you. First up, I want to tell you that for those of you that already have a voucher, you'll need to first achieve receiving a voucher and the use of that voucher for 12 months, okay? In addition to that, you'll need to sign up for FSS, which is Family Self-Sufficiency. For those that don't know about that, that will be our next video Sunday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Texas time, okay? And so beyond that, we have some requirements here where I'm going to go over with you guys. For those of you that are working, you'll need 1 year continuous employment. And if you are disabled or you are 62 years and older, you'll need a minimum income. Now, that widely varies, but we're going to use a standard of right now around $900 a month. That means it could change depending on the geographical location and the state that you live in. In other areas, it may be $1,100. Okay, so it's not for everybody. So we have to kind of pre-qualify you guys. You cannot exceed 80% AMI, or area median income. If you live in a town of 1,000 people and the income is $100,000, you may not exceed an $80,000 income. And you think, well, how would anybody make that be on a voucher? Well, it's simple. If you've got a family and you've got 3 adults in there, it's rather easy to approach that amount as a total sum of money for the household. Let me do some recognizing real quick. Melanie Page, she's actually a client of ours. Thanks for joining the video. And no, I don't push people that are clients to come on the video and say nice things about us in chat, okay? Natasha, what's her name? So we call her Little Mama. For those of you that used to see the cat, or as she is now, she's bigger. She earned her name because she is quite the predator. She plucks birds out the trees all the time. She supplements roughly 30% of her diet by choice. And she loves birds and moles and many, many other things. So here we are again, taking a spin on the cat. This family's channel. Thank you for joining us. Hey, I missed watching your videos for a few months now. We had a consult, and your words of advice were solo helpful, and changed my neighborhood issue, putting her hands on her son. Well, thank you. I thank you for joining us again. We're glad to have you. 2024 is going to be an interesting year. We're really going to dig deep on education. And I'm going to be pushing a lot of you that don't have vouchers or you already currently have one, that you transition to home ownership if it's possible. Look, as we move into 2030, I know we're in 2024, but as we get closer to that, what we're seeing more and more often in the market is not something that I saw 20 years ago, and that's that rents are truly becoming unaffordable. And for a lot of you, this is about owning, having a voucher and using that voucher to pay the landlord's mortgage is really not that sustainable. In addition to all of that, we have an election right around the corner, and virtually none of the candidates like funding HUD. And so the March budget's out, but in a year from now, whoever's in the office can make a decision about that. So can Congress and so on. So we need to look closer for those of you that have the ability, the mental faculty, the fortitude, and so on, to get involved in HUD homeownership program. We need to seriously consider that for many of you, because as we move on in time, 5 years, 10 years, we may reach a period in America where being a renter is almost an impossibility because of the constant change of rent going higher and higher and higher, especially those of you that are on the upper East Coast and on the West Coast. Let's go back to some of these requirements here real quick. One thing you need to make sure, for those of you that already have a voucher, and you need to make sure you're good in compliance with your HAP contract, okay? That means that contract and lease with your landlord, there's no problems or fundamental issues where you have been received any marks against your record, okay? I'm going to jump over here and recognize a few other people as I'm going along with this. Trina Daniels, what if you only have a disability? Well, that's sufficient, right? By the way, guys, I'm going to bring up another thing. Our office is going to be fully rolling out HUD homeownership program as consulting. Look, if I've got if I've got law firms and attorneys contacting me about this, and they're engaging our office and services regarding the program, then it's pretty serious. Yeah, you think it's straightforward, but the reality of it is there's one thing that many of you don't have, and that's the PHA's manuals, policies, and procedures. Not only do I understand the program as a whole and how it works, I know how to expedite the system, and I also have the playbook in which the housing authority uses but prefers you don't have. And so it allows us a great deal of latitude. And for those of you who don't want to wander around and hope and guess and indenture yourself to housing authority employees that don't want to teach anything, it'd be a really good idea to get an expert in your corner. And I'm nothing short of that. Hell, even my reputation precedes itself, even on Google, Yahoo, and so on. There's not even a notable second to me. But I'm not here to ring my own horn or honk my own horn. I'm just suggesting that if we're going to do something, we need to do it efficiently. This is a commitment of 12 months to 24 months. And you're either going to navigate it like an expert or you're going to wander around and get yourself victimized. Many housing authorities will find many, many different ways to offer something and then make it virtually impossible to achieve it. Did you expect anything different? Look at all the nonsense you go through just to get a voucher. Now we're talking about something that could play out to be 3 or 4 times more complex, has a great deal more requirements. Do you think they're going to treat you any better there? Do you think those people at the housing authority are doing prayer circles hoping you're going to get a house? Of course not. These people don't give a damn either way. Their only job is to qualify you to get there and then cut you loose with or without directions. You may or may not get a good caseworker over there. And in that case, you want to expedite your process. My goal is not to enrich myself through my company on the back of people with fixed incomes, but let's be honest. Nobody wants to spend all that time with a client, 2 years. I had a lady today. Matter of fact, let me give you a great example. I had a lady call me today. She started off with some pretty bizarre terms. Now, she hasn't booked an appointment or anything, right? So, and then goes on to tell me she's an attorney, but I can tell she's not, right? And then she called me sweetie. And then she went on to tell me that, oh, well, how much does it cost? Well, if you were an attorney, why would it matter, But the whole point was, that's why we're here on this channel. This doesn't cost anything. And for those of you who want to challenge yourself to the race, then let's do it, through the education of doing so. But I can't do it by phone, okay? Moving on, let's address a few other people. Sweetest Gods, we'll just call you God. Your YouTube channel is Sweetest God. I have an appointment with you tomorrow. Excellent. I'm looking forward to it. Now, do keep in mind our office is closed till Monday, but it's not closed for those of you who already have appointments, so don't worry. God. Oh, I see. I see how your name goes. Sweet God's love. All right. I've been victimized. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but we don't want to put domestic violence in a public format. So I sympathize greatly with you and would love to hear the story. If you need help through our company, we'd be happy to assist you with VAWA programs. This family channel goes on to say, I'm sorry for you. So you see another person's recognizing your plight with this. Let's go on. Let's be realistic, guys. You got to have credit, and you don't need perfect credit in order to operate in this program. There's a lot of secondary information regarding credit. Here's what's going to work. First of all, that little free credit score you get from your little app on your phone or Wells Fargo or your bank gives you some little nonsense score. None of that means jack in terms of buying a house. What matters is you've got to go to myfico.com. Okay, you pay them $40. They're going to give you credit score for all three credit bureaus. You need all three, not one of them. Nobody cares about your Vantage score and what free app score you get. At myfico.com is what matters. And you're not looking for FICO number 9. You need FICO number 5. Credit scores, they have different credit scores for buying a car, a home, and even those of you that like to collect credit cards. So again, we've got to look at your credit, see where it is. If you had a bankruptcy in the past 5 to 10 years, this is not for you. Okay. No lender's going to underwrite on that right now. It's not going to be 2008 again. Okay. I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, but if you had a bankruptcy, that it would be far too hard for my office to help you and probably to help your soul. Let the appropriate time pass and then try to address. Moving on from that, you're going to need a minimum savings account of $1,000. Now, remember I brought up a family self-sufficiency program. Now, that family self-sufficiency program is basically escrow, where a certain amount of money above what you normally make will be escrowed and matched dollar for dollar in that account. For many of you that are disabled and seniors on a fixed income, there's nothing to match. You're not going to make any more, so they're not going to match any dollars. You're just taking a class because you're required to. So that means we got to get out there and make crab ducks. We got to do hair, nails, whatever. And for you men, I don't know, whatever you can do. There's lots of things you can do that don't require you to physically do a lot, especially these days. One way or another, we got to tuck away money. You got 12 to 24 months to put that $1,000 together. Now, in total summary, 3% is what they're looking for, but only 1%. 1% is required from you, your efforts, your fixed income. So we have to balance it out over the year if you're trying to achieve a voucher, or if you've already got the voucher, then we need to start working on a savings plan. The other 2% we can probably get through federal down payments, state and local programs to get down payment assistance. But we must establish that you're at least responsible and accountable for saving $1,000. That requirement could go up slightly or down slightly depending on where you are. Again, I cannot speak on the behalf of all 3,300 housing authorities. Your local communities are all going to be different. Some where it's costly and others where it's not, and so will the policies for the housing authority. Let's also be clear that the HUD Homeownership Program, or what many of you call the Section 8 housing program, hell, there's a lot of names for it, but it all means the same thing. It means the housing authority is going to take 30% of your income and put it towards the mortgage of the house, and then they're going to take 70% of the money out of their pocket and pay your mortgage. And that 70% is continually put in to your home. Eventually, in another 5 to 10 years, will be your money, your equity, which you can borrow against. Do you see why it's so ruthless for you to continue to use a voucher to pay a landlord's mortgage? Let's think about this in a different way. If you manage to pay your own rent, then you've already managed to prove that you could pay your own mortgage, right? If you're going to pay 30% of your income to pay the landlord's mortgage, then what's stopping you from paying 30% of your own damn mortgage? You guys are thinking about this the wrong way, right? And again, we're going to go back to the old thing, and that's that every room in that house is rentable to friends, family, church members. Lots of ways to generate money without moving a finger. I don't care if you're in a wheelchair blowing through a straw. If you've got a fixed income and a few extra bedrooms can be rented. Garages can be rented. Your backyard can be a damn dog walking center. Nobody's suggesting you blow through the straw and walk the dog. But what I'm doing is presenting an extreme example that having a property is also can be a business for you. And so you could reach a situation where you're using that as kind of a business, and your whole mortgage is paid, plus you've got money to go to town, take a vacation. Hell, a lot better than sitting in the projects with a food stamp card and then giving up on life. I've got to get you guys at homes. By virtue of having that home, there's lots of ways additionally you can make money, even if you had MS, MD, schizophrenia, as long as you can keep your faculties together long enough, or you're willing to put the effort, the time, and the fortitude into this. And then you think, oh, well, that's a lot of work. Jay, well, how much work could it be to be broke all the time living in a bad neighborhood? How much work could it be to be poor? You've already proven you can survive adversity. The hell, this is downgrading the stress level by moving into the house. You've already proven you can take almost everything out there without having a mental breakdown. So what would be the change from you transitioning from one hell to the next? At least this one goes somewhere. You're not dying with it, dying with a voucher in your hands. Hell, if I'm going to take shit, then I might as well. What's the difference in taking shit from the housing authority and you owning your home? None. That's the thing. I've got to get you guys to change the way you see it. So now I owe $2 of that swear jar. I was trying really hard in this video to put it in check, but I did warn you guys. Thursday's a spicy Thursday, and that South Louisiana comes out. It's hard to keep it professional, right? All right, let me go on and address some questions, and we're going to keep chipping away at this list of requirements. Natasha, are you still accepting appointments? Look, I'm accepting appointments around the clock. What we're doing fundamentally right this week from today till Monday is I've learned a very serious lesson. We changed our hours to allow people to call whenever they wanted. That has worked out to be a terrible idea this week. I've been working 16-hour days. I barely have time to put both flip-flops on and get to work. It's too much. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to limit some of this. And that's not to mention that many people got hold of our company number and thought we were the free information line. Now, does it look like I want to spend an hour with each person for free on the phone? No. That'd be like saying, hey, would you like to come and apply at our job? And we're not going to pay you shit. You're just going to be here. Use your gas, your time, show up, do all the work. We're not going to pay you nothing. This is all just some good effort. I had lots of those lunatics call my office in the past week. Oh, yeah, I only have 9,000 questions. Do you mind if we could stay on the phone for 5 hours? Nah, we're good. I'm not doing all that jazz. That's what we make videos for. Shannon Smith, thank you for the laughs. Look, guys, if y'all struggle with people that are upfront, that are brutally honest, then you're going to struggle in this channel. You'll leave mad and angry and upset. You might even break a few dishes. I'm not here to sugarcoat shit. I'm not here to entertain. I am a consultant. This is what I do for a living. If you need people to whisper sweet little things in your ear, it's not going to come out this channel. You're going to leave here either energized and ready to move, or you're going to leave here pissed off, and then you just have to figure out some other channel to jump into. I'm sorry, I can't do it that way. My mama didn't raise me to sit there and lie to people's faces. I'm sure y'all read me. Most of my audience is women from 40 to 80, and most of you are actually rather brilliant people when it comes to intelligence. I'm always incredibly shocked at the level and the fortitude that many of you women have. In many ways, I think you guys get this more than my men. My men struggle with this more than the women. So it's exciting to see a lot of you ladies are doing a good job. And I want to commend all of you that are seniors. You guys are some of my best clients. You're on top of the game. You roll off the mattress early in the morning. You don't wake up and roll off the mattress at noon and expect a handout. And so I do enjoy my 55 and older crowd because you get it. You understand what the world requires of you, and you don't treat everything like a game. My young adults, we're working on that, right? All right, let's talk about some more requirements. Thank you for all the emojis, the likes and thumbs up, and don't be offended, man. I like you guys too. Many of you are intelligent as well, and I enjoy working with you guys as well. All right, so, besides that, we're going to talk a little bit about FSS. One of the primary benefits besides the match on dollar and so on. My family shell says I'm 34. That's okay if you're young. If you're not 55, I'm not suggesting everybody that's young is stupid. I'm not like that. I'm just suggesting that the overwhelming majority of people that have an exceptional attitude and that are willing to do things more often tends to be more older adults. That's common anyways. It's like me being a fortune teller and telling you exactly what you want to hear. Many people do well anyways. Okay. I have lots of young, intelligent people. I've met young adults as well that have contacted me. And I'm like, with all that intelligence, we need to go ahead and get you a scholarship at the local college because there's no reason to be hanging out with a voucher. You're not done yet. You're not even started life. So unless you're disabled, then there should be no healthy 18-year-olds calling my phone. Okay. I don't want to hear all that. You don't need to be out there collecting food stamp cards and welfare checks. That's not, you're just starting your life. So unless you got something wrong with you, please don't. Get out there, put some applications in. Not everybody's going to pay you 90 an hour. I know we live in inflated times where a pair of socks are $80. Even the lady that scrubs the toilet in your house, she wants 400 an hour. Everybody's lost their fucking mind when it comes to costs these days. So you all know what I'm talking about. Let's be real, right? I can barely afford to have somebody come and clean because they want $400-500 to walk in the door. And if you ask them to do anything extra, like fold a towel, that's another 95. Now you can clearly see this person they just got their GED out the bubblegum machine. And there's nothing wrong with that either if you got a GED. So, see, I'm at risk of maybe upsetting some people. But the point is, guys, we got to get with reality. Let's do what we're capable of doing. So, FSS, for those of you that can't use it for dollar-to-dollar match on income, then, you can use it for job training, for childcare, transportation, education. If you're dealing or struggling with substance abuse or you're having too many cocktails, then they can assist you with that as well. Household skill training. I think that should be exempted. People don't need to be trained to clean their house. Either you want to do it or you don't. If somebody's got to teach you that, then that's old news. And then homeownership counseling. The reality is you're dealing with many parties and not all parties cooperate. You're dealing with the housing authority's requirements, classes. You're dealing with your credit score and potentially somebody to help you with credit. You're dealing with consulting to bring all parties together. You're dealing with a broker. You're dealing with a lender. And so you see all these parties. If you don't have a good supervisor, trust me on this, these parties, it's like having a bunch of strangers show up to your party. You're serving alcohol. Everybody's having cocktails, but everybody's not working together. And a lot of my job is to bring all those things together so it's a seamless process. If not, then you'll be the longest surviving program participant when would take you 11 years to go buy a house through the program. Now, the housing authority don't care if your car is in the mud and you're spinning your wheels. They're perfectly content. It means they don't have to go into the next step. So they don't mind if you want to spend 80 years trying to figure it out. So it's sad, but it's a reality. Their job is to qualify you. All right, moving on from there. So, today I'm full of it when it comes to making jokes and a few bad words, but that's okay. Today I'm feeling better now that I'm getting a little bit of rest. JW, 55 and older, that's me. All right, well, hey, look, we get along famously. Dark Wisdom Apothecary. Now, that is the name of the day. Dark Wisdom. I'm good with that. Hello, I am currently living in New York housing. I want to move out of New York. Well, who doesn't? Do we have any options for homeownership in New York right now? Well, the interesting thing is we can fund wars and spend trillions of dollars, put it on a plane to send it out to Afghanistan, but we cannot fund HUD an extra crispy dollar to make a list of all housing authorities that offer the HUD homeownership program. Imagine that for just a moment. So we have a HUD, which virtually is on a welfare program itself to operate, but we'll spend a trillion and trillions of dollars to pop bombs in other places, right? And we can't possibly come up with, we'd have to hold a session of Congress to get HUD to create a list of participating housing authorities because they don't all have it. Now, am I trying to juice HUD? No, I'm not trying to talk trash about HUD. I quite enjoy them. They've done a spectacular job in many respects. But you know what, HUD? I hope for y'all's sake, after 80 years of operation, that somebody allocates a few crispy dollars so we can get a list of all known housing authorities off the program. So we don't have to go and click on 3,300 websites every other day to figure out whether these programs are out there. So for those that don't know what the program is, we literally have to, my office literally has to call, email, or visit their website. And what's good for today may not even be good for tomorrow. And so now you see just one little thing in a case that could cost me all day of research. So that's a lot of what it is. We don't want to fund HUD. And now we are possibly facing an election where they take more dollars out of it. Won't be long before manuals are written on toilet paper. We're reaching that point where we're paying people in gift cards and writing policy and passing legislation on toilet paper because we're not funding anything enough to actually get anywhere. It's an aggravation I have. All right, Trina Daniels. Yes, that is here. Sweet God's love. Natasha, does HUD and Washington, D.C. monitor PHA when they are not in compliance? Now, here's the interesting thing. It's a lot like the police. We don't have a cop for every corner, and we don't have a cop for every criminal. HUD doesn't investigate till let's put it this way, until a housing authority does something to be on the radar, you report them. Most housing authorities can actually commit years of fraud before they get caught. We have good examples of at least 5 or 6 housing authorities that are completely insolvent. They actually went into the personal account they're supposed to be paying for rents, and they decided to take the company credit card to buy Gucci and everything else. And no, they didn't even get caught till they ran out of money, and then people's vouchers started bouncing, right? You want to see some good examples? Google that. A housing authority indicted, housing authority insolvent. Yeah, it's crazy, right? And they only seem to really catch it until the fraud is completely done. In other words, a person spent every dollar buying Gucci, and now there's not a copper penny left in the coffers. And at that point, the scam runs up. Unfortunately, HUD doesn't have the ability to track 3,300 housing authorities, and neither does my office. We only keep an eye on what we can. So you got to catch them. Dark Wisdom goes on to say, I would like to move closer to my family in upstate New York. That's like a good plan. Whether you have a voucher or not, that would be a portability process and dealing with your portability specialist. If you don't have a voucher, then you have some certain options with subsidies and housing choice vouchers, as well as a potential for emergency housing voucher, depending on your situation and the case details. Trina Danger goes on to say, one day they have a program and the next day it doesn't exist. Well, it's not quite that fast. Not quite that fast, but I would say that the level of accuracy of whether a housing authority may have it or not could change about every 90 days. And you can see how that's a wild pain in the ass for me because we have clients in all 50 states. So I'm constantly having to monitor housing authorities and what they have and have not. And that's if they even want to get it, because many housing authority employees treat vouchers as if they were their personal vouchers. So they get upset when you ask for one. They only want to hand them out at the Christmas party to the maid and the lawn man and their political constituents. And when mere mortals walk into the housing authority needing something, well, you need to beg and kiss toes and rings and everything in order to get a voucher. Now, that's an extreme comical version of what I'm trying to convey. But let's just say that trying to get vouchers can be difficult. Why do you think we spent 20 years trying to get people the same thing and try to do it in an efficient manner? Trinidad goes, one day they have the program, next day they don't. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and wrap up the video. I think that I've conveyed some of those processes that we need to qualify you for. For those of you that reach out, we'll be providing the actual operational manual for the complete guidebook for the PHAs. In other words, their playbook, the one they don't want you to see, which encompasses the entirety of the federal program. Now imagine that juicy manual hitting the open market. It means that your captors and your tormentors, you're now able to operate at their level. In other words, when they talk nonsense, you have their policies. Education of the system empowers you people, everybody. Okay. And being able to play by the book and not have these people tell you just whatever they want and then you have to believe it is very empowering. When you have that, you can weaponize your case to work really well. And that's the kind of information our office has and utilizes in many cases. So, starting February 1st, we will roll out the HUD homeownership program for those that want to engage in services with our office for that. And I will continue to teach regarding that here as we have time, a couple times a week. This will also conclude part 2 of our HUD homeownership program for the introductory video we did, and then, of course, the factual basis of how you qualify. To be honest with you, there's probably another 83 pages of content and information I could do, but I don't think anybody wants to be a captive audience for 83 pages. There's a lot more to be considered. Questions and other things, guys. If you need help or you just want to be educated, just reach out to us. That's the best way to handle your business, is just reach out to our office. And look, I'm a real good teacher. I've got a nice tone when I talk to people in most cases, as long as you're friendly and excited to learn. I'm always happy to talk with people. Moving on from that, Diane Nixon Bowers, welcome to the channel. Well, Diane Nixon Bowers, right. You got a nice name. Can we watch this after this is over for us to watch right now? That was an interesting way of asking a question. I was just able to start hearing the information. Diane, you know what you want to do? Bookmark the video, save it as a bookmark on your phone or on your TV, desktop, whatever. And then, yes, you can rewatch, and you can actually reread the comments too as well. So that's what I would do. Subscribing will only allow you to see new videos. Dark Wisdom Apothecary, I like that. Thank you for your knowledge. I'll be reaching out. Look, guys, despite the spicy nature of this video, the ultimate goal in my office is to teach people, is to teach you guys to empower yourself in order to learn policies, procedures, and so on, so you're able to better handle your own cases. At no time should anybody consider reaching out or engaging in services with our office unless you've done everything that you can to do for yourself. Give me your best efforts and then yield the no result. Okay. I'm not here as a luxury. I'm here for those that have tried everything and simply cannot manage the system itself. That would be appropriate. I'm not here to enrich myself or anything like that. The goal through our company is to be able to expedite processes for those that have particularly a difficult time understanding and other issues that may be related. Again, our website is www.section8consulting.com. You can check the reputation and so on of our company throughout all over the internet. We work with law firms, attorneys, legal aid societies, nonprofits, caseworkers, counselors, state and city offices, and many, many, many other things. You can see a lot of prior history on our community page in the YouTube channel, where we work with giant landlords, 500 to 1,000. And we've recently been engaged with a multinational company that has 5,000 or more houses, and we'll likely be engaged in services with them to be put that on a market, so you guys can, if you're in the area where these homes are, then you can potentially find a fast way to get a cool home without actually having to go through the nonsense of seeking some wretched household. Also, we've engaged in services with a different company that'll have 10 new properties available, and we'll be making some announcements regarding that as well. I will be overseeing the approval. So the nice part is, when these mega landlords engage services through our company, I'm ultimately the deciding factor as to whether or not you and your voucher can get in for those that choose to apply. And I'm pretty favorable because I have a better understanding of what people go through, and I allow more latitude. However, if we see red signals of prostitution, gang activity, drug activity, and other things, then knowing me or going into my channel won't help you. I'm not going to let sex offenders move into my landlord's properties and stuff like that. And if your behavior is good and you're real and you're genuine, and then it's an opportunity that you should jump at. Well, guys, I've enjoyed talking with you. We will see you again Sunday. I don't know what the topic will be for that day, but I'm thinking carefully, and I will make a short video probably Saturday to let you guys know what's going to happen Sunday. It'll be a live video at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we'll get deep in, and it will be free of profanities and any other sensitive topics. And then after that Sunday video, we'll be back Tuesday. And Tuesday next week, we're going to be probably Sunday, we're going to make an announcement about new video hours, new business hours, and so on. So we're kind of testing things for 2024 to see what works best for me and our office, as well as our clients. So we're still testing the hours and so on for services. All right, moving on from there. Looks like this family's channel says, what do you think about the Habitat for Humanity? I actually made a video about it. It's one of the most populars regarding that program. I think that it's beneficial in some cases, and in other cases, I think that, well, I have some negative things to say about it as well. So I have a balanced opinion of it. I don't, to be honest with you, you'd be better off with a federal subsidy than to deal with a nonprofit that kind of indentures people in many different ways. So let's just say on a scale of 1 to 100, I would award Habitat for Humanity a score of about 30. Okay, that's my opinion. I don't want to get deeper into that, but yeah, I'd award 30 out of 100 on that. So, all right, thank you guys for joining. And next time you'll come, we'll have new decor in the background. That way you have something else to look at besides my old face. All right, bye-bye for now.